Are you planning to stay this time? And if you stay, let me know.
Welcome to the Gridiron Boys Podcast. I am your host, Evan Lopez, and today Aaron will not be able to make it. He has some personal reasons for it, so, it's just going to be me today, which is going to be weird. I haven't done a podcast by myself before, but listen, man, I'm not an expert. Aaron's not an expert, but we just do this for fun. He's got a full-time job and a family to take care of. I'm in college and work, and, I got to pay for a lot of stuff, so we're just doing this for fun, man. So, I understand if we say some crazy stuff, like I'm probably going to say something crazy today that I've had a feeling that just happened in the NFL world. But I just want to tell you that we're not experts, man. We're just here to have fun and just talk about football because this is something that we love. A lot of passion goes into this. We watch football, and especially with college football started last week. It's been fun. But today we're going to be going over our week 0 predictions that me and Aaron had, and we'll be going over some NFL news, and then we're going to be going over to week 1 predictions as well. So actually we're going to do the NFL news first and then get into the week 0 predictions and now the week 1 predictions. Okay. All right. You know what? I'm not going to get this too crazy. I wrote some notes that I kind of wanted to hit here, but everybody knows what happened here in the Dallas Cowboys, right? We all know what happened. Micah Parsons traded to the Green Bay Packers for Roger Clark and 2 first-round picks. And I get it. It's crazy. Micah Parsons is a hell of a guy. I think he's one of the best players, but I do see what Jerry Jones decided to do. I understand it personally. I know a lot of people don't, so I get it. It's going to be a take that no one's going to enjoy, and you're going to say, why do you have podcast equipment? There should be a ban in podcast equipment. How about you go out here and really talk to people about how you feel? This is how I feel. I feel like Dallas did the right thing. I'm not going to, first off, before I even get into that, I'm going to let y'all know that Jerry Jones is definitely not a good owner. I'm not trying to hype him up. I'm just trying to see it logically through what's going on. Jerry Jones made a lot of questionable calls. Now with the Parsons trade, it kind of is like, why do we need a George Pickens and stuff? I don't understand kind of where the direction is. Even though I think I have a direction, I don't think they fully know it yet until the season starts. And like with the fans confused about, are they rebuilding? Are they retooling? Guys, they're definitely not contending. Let's be for real. And don't tell me they are. Just because the fans say doesn't mean they're contending. And Jerry Jones, he probably don't even know what's going on until halfway through the season where he's like, you know what, we're not contending. You're not going to contend, guys. I'm sorry. You have Washington, Jaden Daniels' second year. They're a pretty damn vetted team over there as well. And then you also got the Philadelphia Eagles. They just won the Super Bowl. A young team. That defense is ridiculous. So let's be for real. And that's not like the only threats like in the NFC that the Cowboys are going to have to deal with. Honestly, I'm going to get the NFL predictions next week. But honestly, I love the Giants' defense. Like, I'm not saying offensively. That Giants defense is going to be ridiculous. So, like, they're in a tough division, and you're not contenders. All right, I just want to throw it out there. You're not going to be contenders. Green Bay was also one of those teams in the AFC where you got to face. They were going to be good even without Micah Parsons, I believe. They're always a tough team. But you got teams like the Rams, Lions, there's these tough teams, man. And it's just, I don't think that the Cowboys, even with Micah Parsons, are going to really challenge as much. They might make a playoffs, but what are you doing after that? Micah Parsons in the playoffs, he hasn't been the best, but Cowboys also haven't been the best in the playoffs, so I'm not just, blaming that on Micah Parsons. But this team, man, it's I just don't think they were ready for it. So I'm not mad about this move, getting rid of Micah Parsons. I wrote down in my notes, Dallas is silencing the persistent noise that followed the Parsons and the Cowboys organization throughout 2025's offseason. We all know what happened. They were breaking down, is he going to get the contract? Is he going to get the contract? Is he going to get the contract? So let's go, man. I got my first point that I kind of want to get across. Before I kind of get into that point 1, I want to talk about locker room. This is part of my point. Locker room's a big thing. It's a big deal to me, especially being a Bronco fan. So I'll give you a little backstory. You already know it, though. Russell Wilson, we traded for Russell Wilson for a bunch of picks and a bunch of players. Drew Lock and Noah Fant and Shelby Harris. Those were some of the people. And Draymond Jones, I believe. Like we sent the bag over there. Maybe not. I think maybe Draymond in the offseason. I don't remember, but they all went to Seattle. we got that Russell Wilson trade, and everybody thought that was the piece, because Broncos, we were average without a quarterback. We're running with like Drew Lock in them. So we played pretty well without a star-studded quarterback. And so we traded for Russell Wilson, and everybody thought, now this team is going to be contending for the NFL. Also, to another point, see, you said we were contending. I also thought that. We don't know shit when we're talking about football, y'all. Come on. We don't. Like, I don't know. Half the people, it's just predicting stuff. It's hard. Like, we don't know if they're contenders or pretenders, or they're selling or buying. Like, you don't know till that season starts. Because we thought the Broncos were contending with the Russell Wilson trade. We went 5-12. Is that contending to you? No. So that's another point I want to get across. Sorry, I'm like bouncing around, but I got a lot to talk about. But we got that Russell Wilson trade, and there's a lot of reports, man. You can definitely see during the games, man, like the sidelines were not happy with what's going on. The coach, Nathaniel Hackett, also was not very good, which could be a little bit of an issue with Schottenheimer. I don't really know. I'm not the biggest fan of that pick for the Cowboys, but so be it. We don't know till the season starts. But it's the locker room. It was so divided that we really couldn't go anywhere. I forgot who it was, but our D lineman, I believe it was the Tennessee Titans game, when Russell Wilson got the sideline, he was just yelling at Russell, and like shit was going down, man. And you can see that this team wasn't motivated at all. And so Nathaniel Hackett gets fired during the season right after that Christmas game that we got obliterated. It might have been one of the worst Christmases ever. Patrick Starr and SpongeBob were over here roasting the Broncos and Russell Wilson, so it kind of hurt me a lot. But the Broncos fired Nathaniel. They brought in Sean Payton. And guess what Sean Payton did? He changed the culture. And this team's a lot better than it was. Even with Russell Wilson that year, so much better than last year. So changing the locker room is really big, right? And you're wondering, why are you talking about locker room when you come to Parsons? In my opinion, he talks a lot outside of the locker room, AKA his podcast. He has a podcast. He also tweets. He just talks a lot of mess. He's just not a good locker room guy when it comes to the Cowboys. You don't need extra noise around this organization. This whole offseason has been littered with so much shit going on, and you're just talking mess. But I think this is where, fault to Jerry Jones, you need to get this locker room going. You need to tell him, hey, this is what we're doing. And I might have made some mistakes in the past, but we're going to change it here. Like, we need to get going. We need to be fully bought in. So a lot of it is on Micah Parsons, or on Jerry Jones, on getting this correct, this locker room correct. Getting them fully bought into what their goals and expectations are coming forward. Because this year, I don't think is going to be the best year for them. But you just got to let this locker room know what we're doing and what the Cowboys stand for. But this, like I said, this team was clouded with so much coverage over this damn saga. When you're the Cowboys, I just don't think you're at the point where you can just upgrade pieces. You need to start upgrading with good locker room guys and getting this team. No, I don't want this team no longer to be a laughingstock, is what the Dallas Cowboys should really think. You don't need that. You need some key pieces that are good in the locker room that can maintain, like good stature and maintain a good positive attitude throughout, and I get it. It sucks losing, but you can't just go out there talking shit about teammates and stuff on the podcast. And then my point number 2 is the future. If you're the Cowboys, in my opinion, you're not contenders. Let's get that out of your head. You're not contenders like you think you are. You got a lot of other teams above you that are going to give you a lot of problems, even with Parsons. And even when you had Parsons, y'all weren't contenders then. You were pretenders. Let's be for real. So I don't expect this team to make the playoffs. Personally, with the state they're in, I think they are in a little rebuilding or a retooling. It just depends on how they draft. But in my opinion, I don't see why you would tire yourself out with another massive contract when you can start this rebuilding phase. Like I said, either rebuilding or retooling. But with this trade, the Cowboys now have 2 first-round picks in 2026 and 2027 alongside their first-round picks. So you have 2 the next 2 years. They are kind of late. Depends on where the Packers end up. But you can also, kind of diffuse this ideology with saying how they could have gotten more. And I agree, could have gotten a little bit more of like a 3rd round or get like a 4th round in there. I totally get it. But for what they got, you had to go. Stuff was getting a little intense. And also, before I get into a little bit more, I also want to blame Jerry Jones for letting this, go out as well. Because Jerry Jones kind of wasn't the best representation of what the Cowboy franchise could definitely mean, talking mess about his team. That's something you got to work on too. See, I'm not trying to fault just Micah Parsons. I'm not trying to fault anybody. I'm just trying to say it how it is. Like, Jerry Jones, you got to fix that up. If you want this team to be a good team, you need to get this locker room to follow you, and that's not a great way to show that. But this defense, in my opinion, honestly, been struggling a little bit with stopping the run. So why not get this over with now, trade them, get some pieces, and let's start this rebuilding for the future. Like I said, though, in the previous point with Jerry Jones, he's also at fault with paying Dak Prescott the amount of money that he did so recently. So that's another issue. Cap space is another issue. You've got to work on that. And honestly, even with Dak Prescott, I think this offense is going to be really good. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, the running backs, Javonte Williams, not super excited about the run game, but I don't want to pretend to say Dak Prescott's a super bad quarterback. This guy can get some stuff done when he needs to. So let you know now, this offense is going to be pretty dynamic. So pretty good offense. Your defense won't be as good. You're losing Micah. I'm going to be for real with you. It's fine. But you get 2 first-round picks, and to me, it starts speaking let's get some defensive guys coming up in the draft. You got a lot of studs out there. You're getting guys like Anthony Hill Jr. out of Texas. You're getting some studs from college that you can start drafting. So I think that would be super exciting. And you're also bringing in Kenny Clark. He upgrades his position at D-line. I think you're going to be a lot better than you were last year on this D-line. Kenny Clark's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. So you fix that problem for 2025, and then we can start addressing some others in these next drafts. But I just think this is a proper way to get, maybe not proper. Probably could have been a better way. There definitely was a better way you could have handled it. But with what happened, I'm not mad about what happened. I'm just saying, to prepare for the future, you cannot take another massive contract. You can't have another offseason like you did this year when you can only afford Javonte Williams, when there's a lot of different pieces out there. So why get yourself tied into another contract when you really aren't going to do anything in the playoffs or anything like that? That doesn't make sense to me. So I understand not going that route. Now you have a lot more money now. So it's time to start spending a little bit. And I want you not to just spend recklessly. Let's spend correctly. All right, let's get this stuff going. Let's pay the right people, right? But that's my take on the Micah Parsons and the Cowboys. It is messy, I will say. It could have been a better way to handled it, but with what Cowboys did, I understand. It's time for him to go. Stuff got really messed up to where he had to go with the way they did it, traded, get first-round picks. But now, in order for this to work, we're going to need phenomenal drafts with Cowboys. Are pretty good at drafting, besides Taco. Well, I don't remember what year that was, but they're pretty good at drafting. So if you just keep up with these good draft picks and we pay the right guys free agencies in the next coming years, we're going to forget this ever happened. Not much being said there. I just think it's time to start getting this correct. But it really all depends on if these draft picks are going to be worth it. If you draft like shit, then discredit me all you want, or even it's just my argument is invalid if they pick terribly in these next coming drafts, And also, any Bengal fans out there, you got Henderson. He's got a contract extension. That's pretty exciting. And also, Terry McLaurin for the Commanders also got a contract extension. That's just some news I wanted to talk about in the NFL. Let's get into this NCAA football. Me and Aaron, we predicted 3 games last week, starting off with the Iowa State, Kansas State in Dublin. See, before we even get to who we picked, I have a little bit of an issue, man. I'm not the biggest fan of having conference games in the week 0, in my opinion. It's just because these guys are going to be sloppy, of course. It's the first game. It's not like the NFL where you're getting preseason, you're getting these training camps, you're getting these joint practices. You're not in the college football. You're just practicing yourself. And so when you see another team, issues are going to arise. But sadly, I started the 2025 season with a wrong prediction. I had Kansas State beating Iowa State. I thought Avery Johnson would be crazy running the ball. Big fan of, also the running back room like Joe Jackson for the Kansas State, but I kind of want to read over here. So the final score was 24-20. So Aaron actually started this year off correct. He picked Iowa State. He's a big Rocco Beck fan. But based on the stats, Avery Johnson played a better game. But I will say that Kansas State looked a little sloppy, or pretty sloppy in that game. A lot of penalties, I would say. Both sides, I think they had combined of 3 yards at the end of the first quarter. It was raining as well. So you're just not going to get the best product. It's week 0 and it's raining. You're in a whole different country. I don't know. I just feel like, Avery Johnson didn't get to his full potential of his dual threat capability. But it all it all kind of went downhill when Kansas State went for that 4th and 1 and it didn't work. And then Iowa State scored to make it 24-14. But then, a couple seconds later, they throw a 65-yard touchdown. So you thought maybe they'll get back in. It never happened. Iowa State had that. But, it was a good game. Also, the next game that me and Aaron talked about was Kansas-Fresno State. Aaron said, don't sleep on Fresno State. But Kansas, they did not. They whooped their ass 31-7. Me and Aaron got that right. So now I'm 1-1, and he is now 2-0. So he is beating me, sadly. And then we went to, what the hell was that? Oh, my shirt fell. I forgot I was hanging it up right there. Sorry about that. And then you got Hawaii and Stanford. Me and Aaron both predicted Hawaii to win the game. So Aaron's 3-0 and I end the week 2-1. Okay, but since Aaron's not going to be here today, he sent some picks, so we'll get into that. But also, I wanted to kind of get into these games that just happened over here on Thursday. Kind of go to the Boise State and University of South Florida. This game ended up to be a blowout, but when the game first started, we seen a lot of 3-and-outs. Defenses were coming out of nowhere. South Florida really upgraded their defense, and it really showed. Boise State could not get stuff going, but Boise State, funny enough, did actually score at the end of the first quarter. Manson had a pass complete to Marshall for 6 yards to start off, and then University of South Florida scored 34 unanswered points. And I would say the tides changed when that fake punt. What a beautiful play. And then after that, there's nothing much you can do. But, congratulations, South Florida, for beating the streak that y'all had going, the bad streak, when it was like 17 games. You didn't beat a ranked opponent. But this year, it was it. To be fair, they're not trying to take any credit away. I don't think Boise State should have been ranked in the first place. But so be it. I can't get mad at South Florida. They scheduled them and they were ranked and they beat them. So that's cool. Also, let's go into this Rutgers and Ohio game. I'm a little disappointed in Rutgers. You had a 17-point lead heading into halftime. It was 31-17. So I thought maybe you could start, growing on that. But no, they took it all the way down to the wire. 31-34 with a Rutgers field goal at the end of the start of the fourth quarter. So I think it was a pretty sloppy game from Rutgers on that side. And what's another game? Oh, NC State and East Carolina. So this game, honestly, started to look like I thought it was going to be a blowout. CJ Bailey was showing out, running, throwing the ball. He made some ridiculous throws. I think that dude's throwing some really good potential this year. I think they're going to be a little sneaky team, NC State. So watch out for that. CJ Bailey, his stat line, he had 318 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. And Hollywood Smothers, also a really big fan of him. I highlighted him in the NC State or the ACC predictions and breakdowns. Big fan of him. But East Carolina kind of fought all the way back. But NC State stopped East Carolina in a fourth down stop. It was a good game, though. I'm pretty excited for CJ Bailey in the next coming games. And the last game I kind of wanted to highlight, let's get into this Nebraska and Cincinnati. Listen, the first half, it was a low-scoring game. Let's see when that was. 13-3 at halftime. Yeah, Dylan Raiola hit that touchdown at the end of the first half. But be honest with you, this kind of felt like an NFL game, because Raiola, they're like shitting on him, but he's playing game manager. That's what, you do. And like the football sometimes. Like Tom Brady was a game manager and he won a lot of games. So it kind of did feel like a NFL football game. It was at Chiefs and Arrowhead Stadium. So that's pretty cool. But I just feel like there were a lot of check downs, and that's just how it goes. Cincinnati's defense did amazing. They forced 14 fumbles last year, the most in the Big 12. They almost had one. It was at the end of the first half. But yeah, like I said, it was a good game, and let's not discredit. It's week 1. I'm not going to go super crazy. Cincinnati, like I said in the Big 12 predictions and breakdowns, this team, if you let Cincinnati hang in there, they'll make this shit a game, man. Like, I'm a Tech fan as well. We had like a 14-point lead, and they brought it all the way back, and we had to have a game-winning field goal to beat them 44-41. So, like, Cincinnati has been in one-score games pretty much all last year. So this team's a tough little team, and Sorsby couldn't throw the ball worth a damn, but boy, that boy was running, man. I'm a big fan of Sorsby. He had 69 yards and 1 interception. The interception was at the end of the game, which I'm not mad at you. It's 1st and 10, trying to get a little closer for the field goal. You kind of are trying to get closer to actually win the game. You want to throw a touchdown and win the game. So I'm not mad at the play call there, but Raiola in Nebraska, 1-0. Am I a little nervous having them 4th or 5th or whatever I had them in the Big Ten? A little bit, but like I said, it is week 1. All right. Let's get into this. Aaron's predictions, and then we'll go my predictions. So I might be a little off because I got to go to his text message and then find the game on this website. So we're going to start off. I'm not going to go make this pretty fast because my computer's actually about to die. So let's get this going. Illinois versus Western Illinois. He picked Illinois over Western Illinois, and I'm also going to agree. I think Illinois is going to whoop Western Illinois' ass. So have fun there. The line is 45.5, so it's a tough bet, but I'm going to go Illinois there. And then he said Texas over Ohio State. I also am going to agree. I got Texas over Ohio State as well. It's time for Arch Manning. I think it's going to kind of be a 20 to 30s in that range. I think it's going to be pretty much of a defensive showdown there. I don't think Arch Manning is going to set the world on fire, but he's going to be kind of like a Raiola, but just a little bit better stats. I think he's going to play a game manager type and have a good solid game. And when you have a defense like Texas, you don't have to do too much. So I think it's going to be a pretty good game. It's going to be super close, but I do got Texas over Ohio State. I also do got Alabama over Florida State. So does Aaron. We agree. Florida State, I think they're going to be on the come up. They're going to get home about 7 wins this year, I believe 7 or 8. But from where you were last year, it's a big improvement, so don't take that as a diss. I got Oklahoma over North Dakota, so does Aaron. And me and Aaron are also agreeing on LSU over Clemson. I got LSU over Clemson. Nussmeier, I think he's going to have a hell of a game. And I'm a big fan of Cade Klubnik, but I think this is the game where LSU has a lot to prove because this SEC is about to be super tough. I think Clemson is going to win the ACC. So I think they're going to start this game off slow, get a loss here, and then win out. So I get it. Oh, he actually highlighted Texas Tech over AR Pine Bluff. Is that what that is? I don't even know that team, to be honest, man. I'm not even going to pretend like I do, man. But yeah, I'm going to go Texas Tech. Big Tech fan. I think we should definitely handle it. It's not going to be like last year. He played Abilene Christian and they took that shit to overtime. It's not going to happen like that. Or almost went to overtime. Nah, not happening. So let's see. It is Arkansas Pine Bluff. That's what it is. Okay, cool. Syracuse over Tennessee. I'm going to agree. I'm going to go Syracuse over Tennessee. He also wrote down Indiana over Old Dominion. I agree. I think Indiana wins this. Penn State over Nevada. I take Penn State. Georgia over Marshall. Georgia got that dub as well. He picked Georgia and Penn State if I didn't clarify that. Iowa State over South Dakota. Definitely got Iowa State. Oregon over Montana State. I got Oregon and he's got Oregon. So we're just, and then Florida over Long Island, definitely. Florida, I got Florida as a dub. And then another easy pick is A&M over UTSA. I got A&M and he's got A&M. Michigan over New Mexico. He's got Michigan, I got Michigan. Ole Miss, Georgia State, Ole Miss. SMU and East Texas A&M. I got SMU and he does too. All I'm going to say, though, guys, is just wait till the season starts to where we start getting to some really good stuff. We just trying to make up for that week 0 slate and have a little bit more games than this week 1. So we're going to give us some easy wins, all right, to make our lines look better. And I'm going to tell you, if someone over here gets upset, I'm going to be very pissed. I am not happy. I would not be happy. But, yeah, and then we still got a little bit more that Aaron wrote down that he texted me. Arizona State over Northern Arizona. I have Arizona State. So does he. Also, I do have a point before we get into our last pick. When we talked about the Big 12 predictions and breakdown, Aaron, we have a TikTok video that Aaron talked about was when I was talking about Kanye Udo and that running back room for Arizona State. Will they be able to replace Cam Scadaboo's production? And Aaron was like, no, you can't replace Cam Scadaboo's production, him or Genty. And I had a lot of you Boise State fans, and mind you, I'm a big Boise State fan, like the Broncos. Like, I thought it was cool as a kid. I saw Bluefield, and they're named the Broncos, like my NFL team. I'll root for them, but guys, they're not replacing Genty's production. Let's just get it out there now. It's not happening. Like, y'all knew it. Sire Gaines, he showed some flashes, just wasn't there. But to end it, we got Notre Dame over Miami in a wonderful Sunday night slot, 30. Listen, you got Carson Beck coming as a Miami's quarterback, and I think that's a downgrade because Cam Ward was a dog. this defense. You brought a lot of folks in for this defense. I just think Notre Dame is going to take care of business. Aaron picked Notre Dame. I'm going to pick Notre Dame as well. So we got every pick the same. It is week 1. We try to make up for all the week 0 slots because we didn't have too much. But yeah, that's the podcast, man. And I apologize if it's messy. I had to do it before I go out to another giraffe party. So listen, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you, Kid Quill, for not really sponsoring us, but giving us your music for the intro and the outro. I really do appreciate it. All y'all be safe. Thank y'all very much.
Doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. I said I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. Hey. Okay, well, I just blew the fuck out of my headphones. I know what I mean, man.